Nathaniel Bacon is kind of a bit of a gay icon. Will you please welcome Mr. Nathaniel Bacon?
So normally I would perform with more of a band or backing track or something, but we're trying to go low on the tech here, so bear with me. So I decided to do sort of a back to my roots thing tonight. So this is the first song that I used to use as an audition song when I first started acting. It's called Wishful Thinking. It's originally by Amanda Marshall from her sophomore album, 2000. I will wait for you like I promised I would do, although it brings me pain, and you always knew just what to say to lead me to believe it's not in vain. Yeah, I was safe and secure when you were with me, but it only could last till the day that he took you back again. So I get back on wishful thinking that when you come home you'll want to stay. Give me your hand, save me from sinking. Another day of wishful thinking, another day of wishful thinking. Before I started acting, when I was about 14 or 15, I spent more time writing songs, which is something I almost never do anymore. I only have enough energy and focus to do one artistic thing at a time. So when I tend to be working on acting stuff, this guitar just sits like a relic, taunting me from the corner of my room. And since I had to pull it out for the first time in a long time, I did recently discover my calluses are gone, so my fingers keep bleeding like a baby's. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but you know what I'm saying. So forgive me if my playing is not up to up to snuff here. I wrote this quite a few years ago. No, maybe it's 60. Okay. Can we hear?
Yeah.
Ish? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I know they'll let you, baby, it's true. You know that exactly what I had to do, but you have thought that when you came to finding love again, the only one found it would be you. Everything you ever said to me comes into question. Everything you ever told me now, I wonder if it's true. When the lights go out at night, I can't reach out for you no more. I just sit here on the floor. I know that I broke you deep inside, but you don't know how many nights I cried myself wrong and screamed into the muffled breeze and black at night underneath cooling sheets of moonlight. Everything you ever said to me comes into question. Everything you ever told me now, I wonder if it's true. When the light reach out for you no more. Just sit here on this door. Venus, Aphrodite, tell me, is there something mighty about the way you watch us struggle, drowning deep beneath the bubbles? I had it all, everything I need, but I fucked it up, and now all I do is bleed, sliding down the door, bleeding on the floor. I cannot breathe anymore, 'cause you're lying with him, lying with him, lying with him on the floor.
You want me to interview you now? You got to sing another one.
Yes, no, sir.
Oh, I want to interview you, Nathaniel. So I want to start out by doing advertising. When the advertising is, that's your mic, I think.
Okay.
The advertising is that, is this working, this mic? I think it is. Okay, good. The advertising is that Nathaniel Bacon is in a show that I'm doing here. Gilbert do here. It's called My Little Brony, the musical, and it's all based on brony culture, which is based on My Little Pony, and Nathaniel Bacon is a star of the show, along with Graham Conway, and the music is by Stuart Borden, and it all opens on April 9th here at the Imp, 123 Danforth Avenue, the Epical Imp. Okay, right? And did I get that all right, you think? I forget something?
Sounds right to me.
Okay, good. So I wanted to say where we first met. So where we first met was when you did a play that I wrote, the Sky Gilbert wrote. Sky Gilbert is other person who I am sometimes, and it's called St. Francis of Millbrook. Do you remember that?
It'd be so odd if I didn't remember that, right?
It was kind of a big deal.
It was.
I mean, I'm saying that the play itself wasn't a big deal, but I know you said for you it was a bit of a big deal because...
It was for a lot of people, I think.
I think so.
It was my first lead role ever, actually.
That's what it was, yeah.
And actually it was kind of a good story because I'd been out of theater school for a few years. I think I was 25 when I did the show, 2012.
You were a young man, all I remember, you were very young. That's fine.
Great. So I'd been out of school for maybe like 4 or 5 years, and I was hitting that wall where I just wasn't booking anything, and I was going, do I suck? Did I just like spend all this time in theater school and all these years working on this for nothing? I don't know. And I saw the posting come up because Equity used to send out those casting notices. Oh, and I used to look at every single one when they pop up, and it was like a new Sky Gilbert play. And I was like, oh yeah, like there's a reason I would apply for that ever. They don't even give me an audition. And then I saw like, oh, like country gay boy grows up closeted, and I was like, well, that sounds like me. And then they were like, and then he also did this, and I was like, that's also me. And then you basically described my entire life story with a couple slight alterations, and I was like, I feel like I might as well now. And then I closed my laptop and I put it away, and I was like, no, I'm not even going to. And then 20 minutes later, I just opened it and went, I'll apply. And then they brought me in.
Yes,
it was
I remember.
Fourth Line Theater, which is out near Peterborough. It's an outdoor space. It's huge.
We do the play outside.
So it's
by a barn.
200 people.
Very much the country. Very country. Yeah.
It is. Get on. I like a good tan up there. And so I went into the audition, and there were like fucking 30 people at that audition, like every person. You don't remember a lot, huh?
Not a lot. I'm old. Everything goes away. The bad stuff especially. Anyway, so there you go.
And Sky Gilbert, who I had to study her plays like in theater school, and was shitting a brick out there. But I remember going out and going, well, yeah, I might as well give it. And it was the first audition I ever had where people just laughed and laughed the whole thing in a good way. You're supposed to laugh on that show. But yeah, I changed my life because then people would give me a shot and I was able to get in the door.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad that happened. The play was about a young gay man, just in the country, and you were brought up in Lindsay, Ontario. Is that correct? Or no, you weren't brought up in Lindsay?
I was born in Lindsay, and I grew up in the country close by, but no one knows where I'm from because it's called Burnt River, and it's not known for anything
River.
except for having a cult leader there around the time I was born.
But
Google that later.
But the play really seemed to touch people, and your performance seemed to touch people about a boy who was being beaten, basically, by his father for coming out and saying that he is gay. And and it was wonderful for me, Nathaniel. You really were very, very touching in that role. But you mentioned something very interesting when you say that you were having trouble with getting the work and stuff. And I checked this out with you that I could ask you this, but it seems to me that you went through this period where you were struggling with being a gay actor, which I think is very important. This would be back in not that long ago. This was like 2012 when you auditioned for it. So what was it? This idea of the gay actor having the problem with feeling weird about being gay actor, it's not like gone. So what was that about?
Yeah, no, it's all like a slow climb, right?
But weren't you at the time going, I don't know if I want to be known as gay actor?
Well, see, me, when I started my career, I remember part of our theater school experience back then was if you were gay, like, are you going to be out or not? Because it was considered a really bad idea. Just like, logically, it was a bad idea for your career. And there are exceptions, if you were like a Charles Nelson Riley type, like, I'm really gay.
Right.
And they're like, oh, well,
that's okay.
That was a half-assed impression. But then you could slot into certain character roles, and you could play specific things. You might be a Disney villain. So, yeah, but you just couldn't play a regular character where it didn't matter what their sexuality was. That's still a thing that we deal with. I think now you see gay actors being cast sometimes in straight roles, but it's still far more common to see straight actors cast as gay people and then applauded for being brave.
Yes, and they get the Oscar. You realize that. A number of straight actors playing gay roles, quite often dying from AIDS, who get the Oscar.
This would need updated fact checking, but as of around 2020, I counted them after I read this article, and there were at that point approximately 19 or so female presenting actors who had been nominated for Best Actress for playing queer characters at the Oscars, and almost the same amount, 20 or so male presenting actors nominated for Best Actor for playing queer characters. But out of all of those 40 or so nominated actors, one of them was a queer actor.
Yes, and this is still going
39 out of 40 are straight people playing queer people.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and that's fairly recent, that's just started to change.
We imagine that this is gone and that the homophobia is over, and I don't want there to be homophobia. Don't get me, people think, oh, Spizzy, you love the homophobia because you can talk about it and complain all the time. No, I don't like it. I wish I didn't have to talk about it no more. I know when I was in the theater school, they told me that I should stop my hands. Like they were all in the hands. Like they would say, like, if we could, my acting teacher said, if we could take your hands and glue them to the side of your body, that would be better because they move too much. And that was what happened to me from the time I was little. Sorry, this is about Spizzy for a moment. When I was little, the peoples, when I would talk, they would, all this stuff. They would say, my mother's friends, they would say, do you notice that you talk with your hands a lot? And I go, I don't know, I'm just a little kid, what do I know? And they're like, oh, why do you do that? Don't know why I talk so much. Anyway, you know what I mean? So my friend, Gavin Crawford, who's coming to visit me, Spizzy, here soon, he would always say that the agents on his resume would say, oh, don't put down the gay stuff. Don't put that on your resume. You know what I mean? So you did a brave thing. You kind of decided, I think it was maybe after my show or sometime after that, you decided kind of that you would be gay actor.
I decided before, which was part of my whole conundrum, because I was like, is that why I can't get anything? Because I did have gay friends that I knew who were actors who were working a lot more than me. In retrospect,
Who were out in the closet. Somewhat. No, not necessarily.
Not so much. I never made any effort to hide it really, because when I was younger, every time I did it would backfire, because it would be like, we could tell. And I'd be like, oh. So I just kind of accepted it. But I also feel that I was always in a bit of a weird space, like I was saying, you could play a character, like a weird, outrageous character role if you're gay. That's why they have all those, like if you go back, there's gay people have been playing obscure character roles in movies and theaters.
Crazy
forever.
people, villainous
We're
people.
villains, we're all the Disney villains. Or, yes, because queer coding helps it to seem scarier to straight.
And the problem, of course, sorry I interrupt you there. The problem, of course, though, is that you don't look like a character actor. You look a little bit like a Greek god. I say that only because one of my friends here, she shall remain nameless. She's a painter, and she saw you, and she said, I would like to paint him. He is like Greek god. So I did not just make that up. So let me talk about this whole Greek god business. The question I really want to ask you is what's it like being a Greek god? Because Spizzy, I don't know what to say, but Spizzy not Greek god, okay? So I understand what it's like to just not be noticed when I walk into a room, and I like that. No one noticed me, big deal. But
we noticed you.
Well, I don't know why, because I'm loud and obnoxious. But the thing with you is that you are a very beautiful man, and you always were, and very, when you were in that play, you were like beautiful voice. So like, how do you deal with this? Because I notice sometimes when I look at your Facebook page that sometimes you're not wearing very many clothings. The clothings, the things you put on top of all that beauty. So tell me, how do you feel, how do you deal with all that, and what is your way, if you don't mind me asking?
No, that's what I'm here for. I didn't grow up feeling attractive or anything. I was like the weird kid. I was the lead singer in choir, in my church. And I didn't date people, so I didn't ever feel that way. I was just the weird kid, which I think benefited me. And it gave me a weird complex, because then when I grew up and became a little more conventionally attracted, people would like expect a certain thing of me or a certain vibe, or they'd keep bringing me in the room to play like Bruce. And I'd be like, I'm not this guy. Or when I was younger, I had long blonde hair. So
yes, he did, very beautiful long blonde hair.
It was like my trademark. But then I would only get brought into audition to play skaters or, like skateboarders or something, and I don't give that vibe in person, so I wouldn't book anything. So like in retrospect, I can see why my face was not matching people's preconceived notions.
But I just think it's wonderful that you seem to own the fact that you are sexy, on the men are attracted to you, and that's okay.
Yeah, well, I feel like when you're an actor, you kind of you have to sell yourself in a way, right?
Right, you do.
It's show business, it's half business. So you have to know whatever you're good at and whatever you're bad at, So I can't dance, so it's a challenge, so I don't go for that, I can sing, so I sing, and some people find me attractive, so I work with that. And I fell into modeling when I was struggling to break into acting. Because it was a similar thing. I actually went to pick up a mirror one day for my mom off Craigslist. She apparently wants me to be murdered by a serial killer. She was like, I ordered a mirror, I just need you to go pick it up from this random stranger. She sent me an address. Okay. But when I went there, the girl selling the mirror was an assistant for a modeling scout. And so she asked me, have you ever done modeling? I was like, no, I'm a starving waiter. And so she gave me a card, and I started modeling through that. So I got more comfortable with it, and because I grew up doing theater and modeling, I was always comfy with my body and sexuality, and I never really understood the big deal with it. So I've always been open about it. I've done a lot of shows. It's helped me a lot in my career because a lot of actors will be hesitant about taking the roles. I remember I did Bent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember Bent.
Oh, God.
I wrote about it in a novel. I wrote about him in Bent. And he came out under the character called Horst. Horst, right? Is that his name? Wolf, sorry. Wolf. He's I thought horse for an obvious reason. But anyway, he was behind something when he suddenly comes out behind a table, and I knew he was in the play, and suddenly it was just magnificent. His, well, it's called a penis, but it was quite magnificent when he came out. And I was in state of shock, and after show, I said, I just kept using the word huge to describe your performance. And I was so embarrassed. I said, your performance was gigantic. It was huge. It was that. I told Ben, but he was very nice. He was very gracious. Oh, I remember I asked, oh, can you please tell this dirty joke? We can cut it out if you hate it. But I remember I said to you afterwards, oh, well, you must have had, you would have fluffers in the pornography. You probably, some of you know me. So, so you do the fluffing. It gets you, the guys ready for the porn. I said, well, you must have been fluffed before that performance. And you said, come on, what did you say to me? You said, yeah, I did what he forget. He said to me, no, nobody fluffed me. That's the way it is. So anyway, I have one more thing I want to ask you before you go, and that is just, first of all, I want to observe that he's a very nice guy. Do you notice that he's a very nice guy? And I think one of the things we have about the attractive men, sometimes the gays and women's too, that they think that the attractive men are not nice. But sometimes they can be very nice people. And here's an example. So listen, you are a fan. You must reveal this, a fan of the celebrities and the Hollywood gossip. Is there anything recently that you know everything about what's going on with all these, these strange, scuzzy people. So do you know anything? Maybe Diddy, maybe even Diddy detail you want to tell us. Is he actually, is he just innocent, as you say, or what's going on? The police are outside his house.
You are barking up the wrong tree of that.
Okay, then tell me one other, maybe you don't know Diddy, but do you know any other detail that we might not know about the Hollywood stars?
I am more of a genre person. I'm a fan of the underappreciated actor. So I will know a lot about old school stuff, or if you ask me about genre film or horror, because I'm a horror nerd.
That's right, he has
so
a whole horror
show. Yeah,
horror. He had a whole horror show that he did. And he's also, you played in a couple of your big hit. You played both Hedwig and Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and also Frankenfurter. So we'll give lots of applause now because we must move on for Mr. Nathaniel Bacon.